What's up, beautiful people? It is your girl, Kendra. Welcome to another edition of Kweenly Critiques on Genius, MLK, and X, episode 3 and 4. Yes, I'm doing a double whammy for you today. 2 episodes and 1 full review, okay? So I'm gonna just touch on some key points and let's hop right into the review. And don't forget to subscribe. Hey y'all, so listen, I was waiting in anticipation for this episode. That's number 1. But the thing I loved the most about this episode was they started off the episode, of course, talking about the Montgomery bus boycott and how Claudette Corvin hasn't gotten enough credit for actually, putting the gas into the Montgomery bus boycott. And of course, they acknowledge Rosa Parks or whatever. But what I loved the most about this particular beginning was seeing Dr. King playing with his baby girl, Yolanda, because at this point, they've had their first child. And I just thought it was just so cute and special with him just playing. And, Coretta come over. She's like, oh, you ain't got the magic touch to make her laugh. I just thought that was just so cute. I was just like, yes, let the intimate moments come out. I am here for this. But, it just made my heart melt because I just said, oh my God, this is just amazing. But my heart did drop when that phone kept ringing because, if you study the Montgomery bus boycott, or like I said, when you study the civil rights movement, people's lives were literally getting threatened like all of the time. And so, white racists are doing what white racists do. They are doing things because they don't want anybody to change their way of life, right? So, you can tell that Martin was like really shaken during this time, but it didn't allow him to be intimidated, even though, on the other side of the phone, when he answered the phone, the dude basically threatened to kill him, his wife, and the baby. But it was awful. And I couldn't imagine living at that time where, I feel like now we are very spoiled because we can block people. We can do so many other things with our phones. But back then, it's like the calls just kept coming. Unless like you just kept your phone off of the hook or whatever. But anywho, Ralph was like, you know what? Let me come into this house with this pew real quick. Because, listen, I don't blame Ralph. I don't blame him at all. I was like, bruh, I don't blame you for giving this pew to Martin to protect his family. Because you just never know. So, yeah. Ralph was like, do what I do, my guy. You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do. But I love also how the way they introduced Betty Shabazz and Jamie Lawson. I don't think the beauty of Jamie Lawson is like so not talked about. Like there's something about how her cheekbones and just her eyes, just how the way she just sits there. It's a regalness to her. And I mean, I probably outside of this role, she probably knows that, but it's just how they introduced her. It was just so and just so beautiful. And the montage of, Malcolm X talking about, the most disrespected woman in America is the black woman, the most underprotected black woman, the woman in America is the black woman. It was just a beautiful montage, and I was here for it. And it was just a chef's kiss. I love that. So I also observed how Betty was just, observing him. And, her sister friend over there. And how, girls, y'all know how it is. Your sister friends be trying to hook you up with people. And you just like, listen, I'm just here just to observe. And your friend like, nah, sis, you need to get up on that. Like, So she's like, I'm trying to focus on some other things. I'm in school. But of course her friend was encouraging her. And then, after he did the speech or whatever, he came over to her. And I just love their chemistry in that scene. And I was just like, I am here for this. Like, they literally picked the right people to do this series. I was so here for him and Jamie or Malcolm and Betty's back and forth. I just thought that was just so cute. And just like the subtle smile, the subtle, the look in his eye. I was like, I said, all right, girl. I was like, y'all are killing this role, baby. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, fast forward, because like I said, the funny thing is I have so many notes, but since I'm doing episode 3 and 4, I kind of want to combine it together and not make this video extremely long. I just want to make it just like this. Okay. But anywho, Malcolm, Brother Hinton, Clyde X, who was a hater. I'm gonna keep saying hater, 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 because he is a hater. Anywho, they're basically fishing for the Nation of Islam, right? So, Malcolm and him are talking about listen, don't be afraid or don't be ashamed of your prison past. This is what led you to Allah. So never be ashamed of that. And so, Clyde X, here he is, his hating self, butting in, and then he gonna try to put a little bug in his ear talking about listen, my guy, listen. I mean, I know you leading a nation or whatever, but it don't look good that you ain't married. So just a FYI. And I was like, but Clyde, are you married? Like, Clyde X, are you? Are you married? For you just to come up all up in Malcolm X's business like that? Like I said, Clyde X is a hater. He's a hater. He's a hater. Hater. But I observed the smirk on Malcolm's face, and I was like, oh, he thinking about daddy. That's literally what I was saying to myself. But anywho, so fast forward, basically, Martin and Ralph and other leaders are meeting because basically the White Citizens Council are trying anything to get the boycott finished, because they listen, we losing our dollars, we losing our coins. Can y'all please just end this boycott? And, basically they're like, no. Basically, that's basically what was going on. And so Nixon, I'm not sure the guy who plays him, but basically Nixon's like, Martin, don't be coming up here trying to be a hero. Let's just stick to our rights or whatever. And so Martin is just like, okay, I don't think that's what I'm trying to do, but okay. So anyway, they were supposed to meet with the mayor. Then they end up meeting with the leaders of the White Citizen Council. And so Dr. King was like, nah, bro, who are these people? Who are y'all? And so one of the ladies who's in the group was just like, yeah, this is such and such and such and such. Basically, they're the head KKK people. And so he was like, we were supposed to meet with the mayor, not y'all. And they're like, well, we're here. So, and I was like, see, this the crap I'm talking about right here. I was like, now y'all know that was so unfair for y'all to just go ahead and just have all these people up here, or these people who y'all know are biased and who don't even think that black people are even human or even have rights. And y'all are sitting here just like, okay, well, we here, and this is the only people y'all gonna get. So, So, basically Martin was like, nah, we not having it. He was like, listen, he was like, we ain't afraid and we ain't stopping this boycott. So y'all better get used to it. So the white guys basically got really pissed off, and they was just like, oh, we ain't about to be bullied. I was like, bullied? I'm like, y'all the bullies. Like, what? Like, child, I was like, oh, getting on my nerves. They made me mad. But I digress. Anyway, so like I said, I'm fast forwarding. So fast forward. Now, the young man who is playing Bayard Rustin, he is doing a phenomenal job. Like, I think his performance is up there with Coleman Domingo's. Because, if you've seen the Rustin movie on Netflix, I mean, Coleman Domingo could be anybody, honestly. Like, he could play anyone. But, oh boy, here? Like, when he is picking up the articulate way of how Bayard Rustin talked. Like, I mean, he literally captures the essence of Bayard Rustin. And I was like, yeah, sir, you're doing amazing. I'm here for this. So, but the funny thing is, what kind of made me laugh, because, first of all, he was chilling in a chair and talking about, yeah, I need some tea with, a little honey with a little something, something. And so Dr. King is like, who are you? And Ralph Abernathy like, Leah, who are you? He was like, oh, yeah, I'm Bayard Rustin. I'm sorry I didn't informally introduce myself. So Coretta knows who he is. So it's funny because Dr. King's face is like, who is this Negro? Basically looking at Coretta, because I guess Coretta was looking at him with admiration. And Dr. King was just like, who's the Negro? Who was this? Not here for it. Anywho, I digress. So, so basically, Malcolm and Betty are in the museum now, and it's like their little banter and how the way they're talking to each other, and how the way she finishes off his sentence, and he sits and he cocks his face and he smiles. Like, I was like, I like this. Like, I was just here for just how the way they talked to one another and talked about things that were important to them. And he was just like, I would love to go over things that I would want to do for the nation. She was like, yes, and I would love to go over the plans that I have. It was just so pretty. And then it cut to Brother Hinton being hurt. So let me tell y'all something. When Malcolm got to that jail cell and saw Brother Hinton bleeding, when he was like, get me an ambulance. And then we turned around and said, Now, I was like, oh, because it scared me. I did not expect him to scream like that. I said, shoot, I'm about to jump up out my seat and go and do what you just told me to do. I said, look, do I need to call 911? What's going on, Malcolm? I said, Lord have mercy. I said, I didn't mean for him to scare me like that. Whew, whew, whew. But anywho, I digress. So, basically, but I ain't gonna hold you though. That was kind of sexy. I ain't gonna lie. Because, Aaron already fine. But then the fact that he kind of did that now, I was like, I said, all right. Oh, sorry, I got lost. Anyway, so I digress again. So they cut to the scene where, the police officer is talking to Malcolm. He's like, look, he said, y'all got what y'all want. Go ahead, disperse this crowd or whatever. And so, he does the famous scene when Malcolm does his hand and then everybody just kind of walks, and then Malcolm looks at the police officer and then walks away. And he's like, yeah, that's too much power for a man to have or whatever. But I thought it was beautiful just to see, like, his brothers were down there, basically rooting for him and standing in formation, Beyonce would be proud. But anywho, so then we cut to Dr. King's house being bombed. Now, that was very, very scary. And how the way they did it, like, literally, Coretta was walking, and next thing you know, like, she had to jump in the room with her daughter because the firebomb went off. And, Martin runs to the house. He's in a panic. He's like, oh my God, where's my wife? Where's my baby? Like, Lord, my house done got firebombed. What in the world? So, basically, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes, y'all, as I'm talking to y'all. But, to see, her run back in that room, that made me cry. Because I was like, oh my God, like, she really had to run back there. Like, this is just bananas to me. Whew, I was like, I can't. But, when he grabbed them and he hugged them and he kissed them and was holding them, it was almost like I could feel the fear and the pain and the emotion in that scene. It was just so beautiful to see. It was just beautiful. And then, Daddy King was like, nah, let me roll up here. Let me roll up here. So Dr. King, not Dr. King, Daddy King rolled up there. It was like, listen, I'm about to take you. I'm about to take my grandbaby. And I'm about to take my daughter-in-law. Y'all all come back to Atlanta. I admire what you're doing. But son, it ain't worth it. Come on back. Come on back. That's literally what Daddy King was saying. And Martin was just like, nah, I'm not about to be ran out. Like, you can take Coretta, you can take Yolanda, but I'ma stay. And so she's like, wait, baby, I need to be here with you. And he's like, nah, I need you to go to Atlanta because we got we got too much stuff that we got to do. He was just like, I'm afraid, but they ain't about to push me away. But at the end, basically it was too late for them to turn back. And next thing you know, after many days of negotiation, the boycott finally ended. And then Dr. King ended up being on the cover of the Life magazine, which I thought was pretty dope, And of course, he got arrested and all that stuff. So I don't know if you guys have seen, there are a couple of mug shots of Dr. King, but there's this one particular one that he has. And this particular one is when he was a younger man, and like he has like the numbers in front of him, and honestly he looks very pissed off. Like I'm not even gonna hold you, like I think Dr. King was pissed off in that picture, like y'all arrested me for nothing, like this is insane, but I'm gonna do it because this is just ridiculous. But I think that was the exact picture that they were trying to replicate. I think I recall the exact picture. I see it in my mind where he's just sitting there looking very angry, and I don't blame him, but hey, but they won, so that's what matters. But anywho, so I love that the episode ended on Malcolm proposing to Betty and how she was just so like, oh my God, like, you proposed to me. She didn't do it like that, but she was just really, really just giddy and girly and excited. And I just love the way they ended the episode right there. I was just like, oh, this is amazing. I love this. Yeah. So, but I ain't gonna hold you. I side-eyed Elijah Muhammad a little bit because, he kind of got mad that Malcolm didn't consult him because of the whole incident that happened with Brother Henson, with him getting beaten and him being in jail. But they didn't have enough time to consult him and to go to jail, because if they had to wait, he would have been dead. So it's like, well, we didn't have time. I just picked up on my instincts, So I was like, I don't think there was anything wrong with that, sir. I just think this is an ego and a pride issue, but I digress. It's good. But yeah, but that was episode 3. Episode 4, like I said, I'm gonna add it to this video as well. Let me go to my notes, honey. I'm going to my notes now, and hopefully I won't go over so much of this video. But anywho. So, yeah, first of all, episode 4 was a roller coaster of emotions. That's number 1. Because I was like, this is emotional, but this is very informative because half of the stuff I did not know. So, in gist, basically, what's going on with Martin is that he had a book deal. He goes to New York, he does a book signing, and basically he gets stabbed by this deranged woman. And if he would have sneezed or if he would have did anything, he basically would have just died or just died instantly. And, basically he was dealing with paranoia and anxiety and PTSD. Now, the thing is this, of course, like when you read and you study the books, you don't think about him dealing with anxiety and PTSD and all the other stuff. But it's like this man literally got stabbed. Like, I think anybody who gets stabbed or shot or, something traumatic that happens to them, yes, it's going to be repeated in their mind over and over and over and over and over again. So, the fact of seeing him going this downward spiral of him rehearsing what happened to him was, it was very heart-wrenching to see. And it's like, yeah, like these, our heroes were strong, but they were human beings that dealt with real emotions, But to get to the funny part, though, I ain't like Sister Girl that winked at him. I said, yep, I noticed it. I know they kind of twiddled that through. But Sister Girl definitely winked. And I was like, who is this heifer? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm protective. Look, I'm the same way. Look, my mom been gone about 3 years now. And I'm still protective of my father. Like, it was this woman that was filling all up on him. And I was just staring at her. Like, I was looking at her like, I was really sighing her. And it was funny because I asked my dad, I was like, Daddy, who's that lady touching on you? And my dad was like, Lord, this is somebody that me and your mama used to sing with. I said, I don't care. I said, she was touching on you too much. So, yeah, y'all pray for me because I don't play that. I really don't. I don't at all. But yeah, I'm like, yeah, girl, I noticed you. Keep it going. And I'm like, and Ralph encouraging him. Like, nah. Be like, you need to put your head down. Both of y'all married. Stop playing. Anywho, I digress. So, the cute bonding moment that I enjoyed was when he was with Martin III and they were brushing their teeth together and they were just all together in the bathroom, just having a good old time. And then, of course, like, Coretta comes in with the older Yolanda. And then, you can tell Coretta is genuinely concerned about her husband. She's like, yo, are you okay? And, Martin's like, I'm all right, and I can show you that I'm all right. I said, well, all right, Martin, all right. I was like, see, I like banter like that. Like, I love, like, I hope the man of God that I have, I hope that he's like that, just be flirtatious with me, just to say a little something to me. Say a little something. Be playful with me. I appreciate it. So, but genuinely, she was super, super concerned about her husband, which, I mean, I don't blame her because it's like, okay, my husband literally got stabbed and like he's still around, but he acting like he's okay, but I know deep down he's not. But I just thought that was super, super cute. And like I said, I just let the spiciness between them. That was everything. Anywho, so Malcolm getting off the plane or whatever, and you could see a very pregnant Betty Shabazz, standing there waiting for him. And, Betty, you could just tell, she like, baby, I just want you home. Like, I'm pregnant with your child. I just want you to be at the house. That's all I'm asking. And so when when Malcolm said something about magic hands, I said, wait. I said, magic hands? I said, oh, no wonder why she has 6 kids. Jesus. I said, not the magic hands. I said, ooh. I said, oh, man. I said, y'all getting real intimate here. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I'm always here for the flirtiness, the flirting, and the spiciness. I'm here for it all. Because, hey, they're married, a couple, be spicy. Do what you need to do. But anywho, Betty is concerned for him not being at home like that. But I think she understands his obligation to the nation. But she's like, listen, I need you at home. I need you home. I need you home with me and your baby that's about to be into the world. And we need to fix up the house so the house can be appropriate. And, Malcolm is just like, nah, the house is fine. The house is given to us. And she's like, no, like, the house needs fresh paint. The house needs, things are lifting. Things are happening. I don't want anything happening to our baby, So, of course, like I said, he just kind of was like, well, I'll be back. Got to go to the temple real quick. So basically, I'm going to just kind of nip this up in the bud real quick. So basically, he meets up with the journalist and he's basically trying to expose the nation to the Nation of Islam. And he wants to put it in a positive light. But of course, the journalist is like, well, you can give me the story, but who's going to be in charge of it is Mike Wallace, because Mike Wallace is over me. So yeah, this will be a good story for him to run on, but he has to control the narrative. We can't. So here come Clyde X, hate and tell, like, nah, we need to, talk to Elijah Muhammad about this. So he's like, okay, we'll talk to Elijah Muhammad about it, but I guarantee he's going to approve it. Because, Malcolm kind of has Elijah Muhammad's ear. So, they go along with it, but it was just definitely something, Like, people were just really against each other. And speaking of which, it's funny because people talk about, like, people were really were together and real close and stuff back then. No, not really. There was some craziness that was going on. And, I don't know that much. I mean, I have studied Adam Clayton Powell, but I've studied the petty side of Adam Clayton Powell. I'm like, every time I hear about him, it's about him being petty. I don't hear anything positive about Adam Clayton Powell. And him, from my understanding, I think him and Martin were kind of at odds with each other. So I was like, this is interesting. Okay. And he was really trying to sabotage Martin. And I was like, yeah, this is some bull crap. Like, why are you trying to sabotage this man? This is ridiculous. So anyway, I could kind of tell that Dr. King and even Ella Baker and him were kind of at odds. But I don't think they were beefing. It was just kind of like, listen, you need to be out in the streets, not just out here with these bourgeois people. You need to be out here on the ground doing the boycotts, out with everybody so you can be seen. You don't need to be with the bourgeois people. You need to be over here. And so Dr. King is just like, well, in his mind, he's like, well, I already got other things that I have to do. I can't necessarily be here and be there. But she's like, no, you're making excuses. And, people are kind of like, oh, not you coming for Dr. King, da-da-da-da-da. But it's like, well, I kind of understand what she was talking about. She was like, you want to be over here on the clean side of civil rights. You need to be out here and getting your hands dirty, which I understood. So, I was like, I don't think it was like ill-intended. It was just, she was like, you need to get your hands dirty or get them dirtier, if that makes sense. So, and plus, let's just be real. Ella Baker was the mother of the civil rights movement. So she's just like, listen, I'm just trying to help you out. I'm trying to school you a little bit. But anywho, so basically, Martin is still kind of on edge because, like I said, he's dealing with trauma. He's not really wanting to face it. And I think he ends up having like a full anxiety attack on the episode. And I'm just like, sir, I feel like this is like us dealing with your grandmama again when you were a young man. You literally had a anxiety episode and wanted to harm yourself. And then your parents are like, oh, he doesn't need psychiatric help. And I'm like, no, Dr. King needs psychiatric help. He needs help, y'all. He needs help at this point. To the point that he's snapping at everybody. I'm like, yeah, he needs extreme help, But it really hurt my heart because, like, for him to keep seeing the scene over and over and over and over again in his mind, I was just like, why is no one not doing anything? Like, it just it concerned me. But anywho, like I said, I'm just trying to speed this up a little bit. I think I'm gonna touch on 2 more things and then I'm done. So basically, Betty again, brings her husband like some food or whatever, and then she voices her concerns again, and he's like, babe, it's gonna be okay, we don't need to concern ourselves with that or whatever, we need to prepare for Honorable Elijah Muhammad's visit. And she's like, I feel like my needs are not being met, I am being dismissed. But of course she's gonna continue to talk about it. So then we about his sister. Because Malcolm X's sister kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Because the fact that she rolled up to the house and was like, I'm not here to help you. I'm here to help my brother. I wanted to say, girl, what? Like, girl, you need to calm that down. Calm that down and take the tone out of your voice, because I didn't have to have you up in this house in the first place. I know you're trying to help your brother or whatever, but you need to relax. And basically, I'm sitting here saying to myself, well, obviously you ain't got no kids and you ain't got no husband, so you over here. Now, I'm not sure if the beef was really true, but the fact that, she rolled up in the house and was just like, nah, I ain't here to help you, and you just need to know your place and hush. It's like, no, I'm going to voice my concerns and I'm going to let my husband know what it is. But then, she voiced her concerns. Honorable Elijah Muhammad ended up writing her a check. So I was like, well, shoot, like, I'm happy that she did continue to talk. Yeah, but, like I said, it was super interesting, right? So, what ends up happening, right? I think, I'm going back to my notes. Let's see. So, let's see. Oh, this is what I want to talk about. Can we talk about that outfit that Betty Shabazz had on? Because that outfit was everything. I said, oh, come on, Nefertiti hat. The blush Nefertiti hat and the blush dress. I said, she's just so pretty. Jamie is so pretty to me. Like, she is just the prettiest woman to me. Like, Lord, just gorgeous. But anywho, so, next thing you know, Nick, comes around, and I think they're trying to do a sit-in or whatever. And I think that they just want him to get involved. So in this case, he got involved. However, in reality, I don't think that Dr. King did any sit-ins. I think that he continued to be on the other side and just to stand in support of them. But I think for dramatic effect, that's why they put him involved in the sit-ins or whatever. But, Coretta finds out he's in jail. She's basically about to have a fit because she's like, Lord, my husband's in jail. What am I about to do? Like, this is just too much. I cannot. So what ends up happening, of course, he's back at home later. Rustin comes over, and basically he tells Rustin that he needs to resign because Adam Clayton Powell's petty tail, if he didn't resign, because first of all, they think Rustin is like a communist, which I'm like, no, he's not a communist, but okay. But on top of a communist, Rustin is actually gay. So basically what Powell was going to do was start a nasty rumor about him and Dr. King basically having an affair. And if they want, these civil rights legislation to be pushed forward, he has to be pushed back. And I said, what type of crap is this? I said, I cannot. I was like, this is just too much. And I was like, see, people really weren't together back in those days. Just ridiculous. But anywho, so what happens is, Betty ends up having a baby. Of course, Malcolm misses it because he's dealing with the nation. And it's weird because you can tell that Betty was pissed off at him or just frustrated. Like, sir, like, your child literally was into the world and now you weren't nowhere to be found. Huh. So you could tell she was frustrated and she was just over it. But then I think what ends up happening was, the film project that Mike Wallace produced comes on in the hospital, and then he gets upset because he's like, okay, you basically allowed this, this interpretation of what the Nation of Islam is to be what it's not. And I'm just very frustrated. So what ends up happening, Martin and Coretta, they cut to Martin and Coretta watching it. And basically Malcolm X is talking about the black Southern preachers and calling them all Uncle Toms, especially Dr. King, which I was just like, dang, like, you ain't to call him that. But all right. But yeah, like, it's a mess. But then here come Hayden Clyde X putting a bug in Honorable Elijah Muhammad's ear, saying, you see, I told you that Malcolm is trying to take over the nation. It's not about you anymore. It's about him. See what I'm saying? Hater. Just a hater. Whew. But anyway, I done made this almost 30-something minutes long. I did not mean to make this review so long, but I had to put it out. So, thank you for coming to this Kweenly critique. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully next week I will have a review that's a little bit quicker and easier. Maybe I'll start putting 2 episodes together instead of doing just 2 separate episodes because I feel like they intertwine anyway. But again, thank you for coming to another Queenly Critique. This is your girl, Kendra, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. I'm out. Smooches and sparkles. Bye.